I'd like to call our meeting to order. It is 6:01 and declare that we do have a board quorum present. If you will please stand for our invocation, which will be led by Chris Dunn, and then our pledges of allegiance will be led by the Stephen F. Austin STEM Academy students.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for blessing us and for allowing us to be here tonight. Father, we thank you that we can gather together and take care of the business of the district and take care of our kids and our faculty and our families in this area. Father, thank you for a great crowd tonight. We're thankful we get to honor great achievements and the special things that our folks are doing. It's a joy to see them here, and just pray that the things that are said and done here tonight will be your glory. Ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I'd like to ask our board to begin making its way to the front as we transition into our awards, achievements, and recognition time. I will now turn the presentation over to Mrs. Carla.
Good evening, President Howard, Superintendent Massey, board members, staff, and guests. It's a wonderful day and a wonderful evening in Brazosport Independent School District. Tonight, we have a very special group to celebrate and to thank. Brazosport ISD joins districts across the state in celebrating School Board Recognition Month in January. This year's theme is Locally Elected, Community Connected, which underscores the profound connection between school trustees and the communities they serve, acknowledging the pivotal role that these elected officials play in shaping the local educational landscape. School board members stand as the largest group of locally elected officials in the state, representing the very essence of the community values and aspirations of those they serve. BISD extends its heartfelt thanks to our Board of Trustees during School Board Recognition Month. Our schools have shown their gratitude with these gifts and memorabilia and notes of appreciation for which you see here on the dais. The Board's dedication ensures that from here, anything is possible for the students of Brazosport Independent School District. Your BISD board members include Mr. Mason Howard, Board President, Mr. Scott Schwartner, Board Vice President, Mr. Jerry Adkins, Board Secretary, Mr. Joe Reinhardt, Board Assistant Secretary, Ms. Patty Save, Board Member, Ms. Liz Cuellar, Board Member, and Mr. Chris Dunn, Board Member. At this time, I will read the Brazosport Independent School District's Board Appreciation Proclamation, recognizing the crucial role that each board member plays in bridging the gap between the community and the classroom. Whereas Brazosport Independent School District is setting the standard for educational excellence with a mission to graduate each student to be future ready, and whereas in Brazosport Independent School District, we believe every child deserves the highest quality education. We believe everyone is accountable for student success. We believe students find purpose through connections with their schools. We believe collaborative partnerships are vital to strengthening the learning experience, and we value and support the contributions of our staff, and whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees is connected to the community, working closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to ensure that BISD will provide a rigorous and relevant learning experience to ensure that every student will be future ready. BISD's learning environments will be safe and conducive to learning. BISD will promote, communicate, and market the accomplishments, achievements, and successes of students and staff. BISD will exercise fiscal responsibility to ensure financial strength and provide the resources to equip and maintain quality facilities and educational programming. BISD will recruit, develop, and retain highly effective staff. And whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of BISD to our community and the public expectations of the district, and whereas the Brazosport Board of Trustees are locally elected, community connected, to charter BISD with the mission that from here, anything is possible. Now, therefore, I, as Superintendent Danny Massey, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Brazosport Independent School District Board of Trustees and proclaim the month of January 2024 as School Board Recognition Month in Brazosport. I urge all BISD students, parents, staff, and community members to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of our Board of Trustees. In official recognition whereof, I hereby affix my signature this 22nd day of January 2024. Board members, again, thank you so much for choosing to serve. Thank you for choosing to represent. And thank you for all the hours that you put in to serve not just the staff, but especially each and every child. We are very grateful. Thank you. It's now my honor to introduce our Assistant Superintendent of Elementary, Ms. Rita Cundiff. She is going to speak on the Spotlight Educator Award.
Good evening, board members and guests. It is my honor to recognize the Spotlight Educators for this month. The purpose of the BISD Spotlight Educator Award is to recognize outstanding teachers across the district. These teachers who go above and beyond for not only students, but their coworkers as well. They are knocking instruction out of the park. They collaborate with their team members and support all learners. These teachers lift up their coworkers and students, and their overall performance is spectacular. Not able to attend tonight, but I want to recognize her as the elementary Spotlight Teacher of the month is Ms. Kathy Hosso from Freeport Elementary. Ms. Hosso goes above and beyond for our students. She is dedicated to our campus mission and vision, and she wants success for all students. Her peers state that Ms. Hosso is always there when you need her to help with any student. She is appreciated for all of the support that she provides this campus. Congratulations, Mrs. Hosso. Ms. Cassie Phillips from Brazosport High School, if you will come forward and join Mr. Massey at the front. Ms. Phillips goes above and beyond to assure students are successful in their class. Oftentimes stays late to get things done. Always willing to help and provide suggestions and resources for U.S. history. Student success is her main priority. She is very dedicated to her job, wonderful to work with in a team setting, and a natural leader. Her peers state that she is a great asset and leader to the PLC team, and helping students succeed is her first priority. Congratulations, Mrs. Cassie Phillips.
everything. I could ask you just a moment. Board members, could I ask you to stay for a picture? So we could do a picture of you. Thank you. All right. 1, 2, 3, and another 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This does conclude our recognitions for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Howard, before we get to the next part, we will be having some youngsters come up, and we're going to move the microphone.
All right.
Good evening, board members. We have some very special guests who have signed up as part of the process to speak and share some words with you. We also have some parents and teachers as well. So we will start with our first parent from Freeport Elementary, Miss Irene Johnson. She's our PTO president and also a parent. Miss Johnson.
Good evening. So January is School Board Appreciation Month, and on behalf of Freeport Elementary School and its PTO, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the school board members of Freeport ISD. You are citizens whose decisions affect our children and build our community. Thank you for the countless hours you put in to ensure that the children in our community have access to an equitable and quality education. Thank you for your extraordinary dedication to public schools. You are charged with making decisions that can sometimes be quite difficult or require sifting through a great deal of information. You contribute hundreds of hours each year leading our school district. Thank you for the time you spend to continue to be well informed of the latest trends in educational leadership and to be deeply involved in community activities and for the many hours you spend at extracurricular events. Through your dedication, governance, advocacy, and collaboration with other school district staff, you are building the future of education in Texas. Again, thank you so much for everything you do to help make the school district the best for our children and our community.
We have from AP Boydell, Ms. Charlotte Martin, and her daughter, Carlise Martin. Khalees, and she's a 4th grader at AP Boydell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Khalees, and I would like to say something about Boydell and my teachers. I just want to say that AP Boydell is a good school with good teachers and a good fit for me, because AP Boydell took a chance on me when no one else did. For that, I love all my teachers and staff.
My name is Charlotte Martin. I am a parent of a child that goes to AP Boydell, and I just want to say I am thankful for BISD. BISD is a wonderful, wonderful place where y'all are my village. Without y'all, there would be no me. Y'all help me, and y'all take great care of my child, and I appreciate that. And y'all have plenty steps in place to make her education easy, and I appreciate everyone that makes that happen for us. Thank you.
As a short intermission here, we have guests. The Delta group is also has signed up to speak. So we have Miss Davis, Lois Davis.
She's kind of shy. She may not talk
She's
very
kind of
well.
shy. She might not talk.
Good evening. On behalf of our President, Sheila Austin, who could not be here this evening, I am Lois Davis, and I'm a member of the Brazos-Port Area Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. This past Saturday, we had sorority meeting, and our social action chairperson, Carolyn Edwards, said to us, don't forget that we have school board meeting on Monday night, because we have coming to school board meetings on our calendar for the entire year. And before we left, our president said, remember what we're going to say when we go to the school board. Y'all get together, because we were told that every time we come, we need to have something on the agenda. And so I said to Carolyn, well, this is easy, because this is School Board Appreciation Month. And certainly we do have something to say. I didn't know that I was going to be the one to say it. And though I'm very shy, as Mr. Ryan said, I just want to say thank you to the Board of Education for Brazos-Port Independent School District, and to the superintendent and everyone else that works with the board. You have a difficult job. There's so many things that you have to do that everybody does not know. And I know for a fact that you take a lot of criticism for a lot of things that people don't know about what you do. So, on behalf of the Brazos-Port Area Alumni Chapter, the Deltas, as you know us, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for taking care of our teachers. Thank you for taking care of our children. We need you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis and the Deltas. We will ask now a parent and a BISD from the BISD employee, Ms. Jeanette Lamb, and she has her 4 children here as well from Stephen F. Austin.
Hi. Y'all have to bear with me. I'm a little bit more used to addressing a younger crowd. Sorry. As you can see, I'm a proud mom to 5 BISD students, 4 of whom attend Stephen F. Austin STEM Academy in Jones Creek. I know that you guys work long, hard hours. I attend school board meetings when I can, and it's not very often, and yet you're here all the time. And I just really wanted to be here to say thank you, because like Ms. Davis said, you face a lot of criticism and not as much appreciation for what you do. I see you out in our community. I see you serving our schools and our students. And I know that your dedication to us. When I saw the subject of tonight, the connection, I wanted to talk about 2 things that has impacted my students, my kids, and all of SFA, and that has been your perseverance in our 2019 bond. I know that that did not go how you guys planned. I know that the world changed. I know that the land out there changed, and you had really different goals. We weren't even in BISD. We moved here after that was passed. But what you guys have done is you've persisted. You've really dug in, and you've provided a beautiful campus for my kids. Y'all changed and started doing those repairs and renovations last spring, and then we came into a lovely campus this fall. It was the highlight of my household, watching the playgrounds be built. every day, my twin pre-K daughters came home and said, "Oh, it rained today, they didn't get to build. Oh, the ground is too wet, they didn't get to build today. Oh, they worked really, really hard today, we saw them." And I'm sure it was the talk of their classroom as well. Every morning as we drove to school, the conversation was, "Maybe today we can play on the playground." And they would whisper and talk amongst themselves about who was going to get to play first and so forth. And then came the glorious day where they got to play on the brand new playground. And that's just one of the visible aspects of what you've done out at our campus. And so I just want to thank you for staying connected to our community out there, for persisting and improving our school for years to come. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is your dedication to our staff members. As mentioned, I am a BISD employee. I am an apprentice teacher to Ms. Elsa Garza at Lanier. But your I love my role. But your dedication to our teachers out at SFA has allowed them to really just offer a ton of options and ways to enrich my kids' lives. I'm so sorry we found a staple. 4-year-old twins is fun, y'all. Everybody should do it once. One of the things I wanted to highlight was Ms. Gibson, and she has really impacted my students' lives. She is doing a book club with my advanced second grader, but she has started an elementary robotics and rocketry club. And so my fifth grader gets to participate in that. Last year, I spent hours researching ways to enrich his STEM over the summer. I spent months saving up to send him to camps and take him to camps. And now she's doing it after school for me. That's beautiful. It is amazing. And I know that without your support, she would not be able to offer things like that. So I appreciate that. And the last thing that I wanted to say is, on the topic of connection, I spent the past 2 years volunteering to judge search projects. And I have loved every minute of those volunteer hours. And I would like to invite one of you to volunteer for me this year. Or get someone to volunteer for me. Because this year, I have 2 students competing at SFA. And there is no way I can be unbiased. I am not. I am a proud mama. So I would like to invite you guys when those sign-ups come out. If one of you could volunteer for me, that'd be great. So thank you for all you do. We appreciate you, and we'll take the noise out. Thank you.
So thank you for the apprenticeship role. That is
I love it. I'm a hands-on learner, and Ms. Elsa Garza has just an amazing amount of information to share with me. So.
Well, it's too bad you couldn't get more experience.
Miss Elsa is coming up next to speak on behalf of Lanier.
If she complains about me, I will walk out.
Miss Garza, come on.
Oh.
Well, how can I follow that? Well, I'm Elsa Garza, and I have been in this district for 41 years. As I walked in here, I went up to the wall for attendance, and I have the whole bottom row. I was there. So I actually went through and went and looked at that. And I actually worked with Joe for a little while during the TIP program. Jerry and I worked together at OG for the longest of time with his wife and I were working together as kindergarten teachers. So I have been here in the district at OG for 38 years. So I was right across the street, and then Freeport called me home. So I am now at Freeport at Lanier, and I love it. And even though I'm over there, Jerry still comes and finds me. So I appreciate that. That connection is still there with me. So that's one of the things that I wanted to thank you for, is that volunteering, being there, connecting with us. Every time I see Jerry, I still look for that hug. It's one of those things that I'm looking for, that is always there. Feeling safe. I can go to my school, wherever it is, and I feel safe there. If the kids are there, they come to school to learn because it's a safe place for them. We appreciate our buildings. Even though our building is not the newest building, it's nice, it's clean, it's well kept. We have everything we possibly need in our buildings. That's because of you. You give us what we need to do our jobs. We would appreciate that. That's one of the things that, even though people complain, they don't know what we do and the things that we have in our classrooms, is because we have to thank you for it, really and true. I mean, because I started here 41 years ago, so we have come a long way. We have come a long different way. And, you know, we're talking about growing our own and how we have been here. And yes, we have the apprentice program, but I'm going to tell you, I grew my own. And my son is here, and he came to the program, and he is now an FIS teacher here. So that is growing our own. If we continue, people like you giving back to the community, we keep them here. So I'm passing the torch to him because I am retiring this year. So, I know. Exactly. But thank you once again for everything you have done for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ryder Adams from Madge Griffith, fourth grade student, come on up.
Hi, my name is Ryder Adams. I am in fourth grade at Madge Griffith Elementary. Thank you for your time and dedication that you put into our school district. Your time is very precious to us all, including students, teachers, and administrators. Thank you.
From Robert, we have a counselor, Ms. Walton, who started with me at Velasco her first year, and then moved on to Robert. So, Ms. Walton.
Hello, good evening. So my name is Lanisha Walton. I'm the counselor at O.M. Roberts Elementary. On behalf of our staff and students at Roberts, we'd like to thank you for all you do for our district and within the communities of each campus. We extend our greatest appreciation and gratitude for your dedication to BISD, our students and staff. School board membership is a demanding form of public service. We thank you for spending countless hours preparing for and participating in meetings each month, in addition to studying education issues and law. Each of you and what you do does not go unnoticed. Outlet.
From Brannon, we have a new to BISD teacher, Ms. Kraft.
There we go. Hello. So I do not have 41 years of experience here. I have 6 months. But I have a lot to appreciate in that time. So like I said, my name is Taylor Kraft. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Best Brannon Elementary. While I'm new to BISD, this is my 8th year teaching. I moved to Lake Jackson a little over 5 years ago. And I was making an hour commute to a district that I loved. Each day I would pass Brannon, and I would think to myself, I wonder what BISD is like. I wonder if it's a place that I want to send my kids to, my future kids. So when I was ready to finally not make that commute anymore, I started stalking the BISD Facebook page and website, just kind of trying to get a feel for the district and is it something that holds the same values as me. In that hour commute, I've passed a lot of school districts on the way, but this one stuck out to me. So I'd like to share some of the reasons that now are so special to me. So, first, you're all so welcoming. I've met several of you, and it's hard starting over in a new district in a new place, but you're all smiling faces. There's never a conversation that I've had with any of you that has not started and ended with thank you for all that you do. I truly know that I matter here. Next, and one of my favorites, is thank you for the unanimous vote for the raise this year. When we got the email in October, I wish that each of you could have been on a campus to see the reaction of the staff. My team personally voted you MVP, Most Valuable Board. So it was a really great day. We wanted to say thank you for that. Next is the safety measures that we have here at Brazosport ISD. When former colleagues and friends ask me how I'm liking the district, the first thing I brag about is the safety and security measures. It is truly unlike anything I've seen The BISD Police Department is an impressive one, and I trust each of them to protect our students and adults on our campus. I forgot an important part of my lesson plan one day. It happens. So since we live so close to where I work now, I called my husband to bring it to me, which he was thrilled to do. And I asked him to park in the back parking lot because it was closest to my classroom, and I would just run down there and get it. I'm not kidding when I say, when I read him this speech, he told me, no, it took less than 2 minutes for our school resource officer to get from the front of the building to the back, to politely knock on his window and ask him what he was doing on our campus. This was so impressive to me, as I've been in other districts where the SRO is on their phone, just kind of scrolling through, just kind of a warm body. It's just, this officer was just so highly trained and was watching the cameras and doing what she was supposed to be doing to protect our school when she noticed something suspicious, and it took her less than 2 minutes to get to the back. And I know that that's because of your support and all that you have provided for that safety and security, that our district has built an exceptional police force, and I know that that is the standard of educational excellence, and that includes safety and security. I can't think of anything better to spend our money on as a taxpayer and an employee of the district. Finally, I want to recognize your dedication to our service, to our students, and making student-centered decisions. After all, they're why we show up each day. They're why you volunteer so much of your time and energy in your busy lives to help make this school district that I am now proud to be a part of. It's highly motivating as a teacher to have a board that is as invested in the students as I am. So I wanted to say thank you for that. The tough decisions that you make and the long hours that you invest and the leadership that you show directly benefits the students that we all serve. And I am so proud to say that I can't wait to send my future kids here. So I'd like to end this the same way you usually end conversations with me. Thank you for all that you do.
Our last speaker of the night is from Polk, Mr. Dublin Pitts. He's a first grader. Come on up, Mr. Pitts. And his mom is also a teacher at Freeport Intermediate, and just a few years ago was a player on the basketball team I coached.
Hello, my name is Dublin Pitts, and I'm a first grade at Polk Elementary. I enjoy reading and love going to the library to pick up new books. I also love going to PE because I get to exercise with my friends. I want to thank our school board and Mr. Massey for all you do for our schools and community. I appreciate how safe our school is. One of my favorite things is practicing the fire drills because it keeps me and my friends safe. Thank you again for everything you do to make sure every day is a great day to be a Panda.
I want to thank all of our speakers.
I do want to say that as soon as he opened the door to walk in, he said, well, where's Mr. Maxson?
I want to thank all of our speakers that signed up and took time to come, and on behalf of elementary, and I want to thank you. One of my favorite quotes is, actions speak louder than words, and your actions are truly appreciated in everything you do for our district. Thank you.
Have a couple more folks who have signed up for School Board Appreciation. Mr. Lawrence Garza from FIS.
Yeah. Can I?
Yes, sir. Not wanting to be eclipsed by your mom.
Yeah. So some of y'all know me since I was a wee little lad. I I came up through the district, started at, well, it's Freeport Elementary now, but it used to be Jane Long. Ended up at TWA, you gotta love those twisters. Went to Clute, ended up at Beeport, and I graduated from Beeport in 2009. And never in my life did I plan to be a teacher. I'm from a teaching family, but I always said, I'm gonna do something different. But COVID hit, I was looking for a job, and I got hired from Dr. Johnson as a para. And he asked, what do I need to do to get you to be a teacher? So, within about 6 months, I was teaching. Now, definitely not my plan, but here I am 2, 3 years later, and it's really only possible for me to be teaching because of the work you guys do. Without what you guys do, I can't do what I do, you know? And hopefully one day I have another student in my position here now saying thank you to whoever's in your seats then. So thank you for doing your jobs so we can do ours.
Also, Miss Jeanette Lamb. Please fix it. Did I miss anybody? Anyone who wanted to sign up? All right. Very good. Thank y'all for being here. It will not hurt our feelings if y'all take So just for the legality of it all, I'm going to read some stuff. We kind of jump-started with audience, with individuals. Tonight we had 10 plus sign up. Are there any others?
Thank you.
We didn't have anybody else sign up for any other reason other than the School Board Appreciation Week. So we're going to move to our next item. The next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda to be pulled from the consent agenda? Anyone?
Motion to approve.
All right. It's been moved by Mr. Atkins and seconded by Mr. Dunn. Before we vote, are there any items, are there any individuals from the public who would like to speak about our action items before we vote? Our consent items. All right. So we have a motion presented to us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right. The consent agenda passes as presented. Thank you. Next item that we have are action items. Public comments will be allowed before a vote is taken on each action item. As well, our first action item is to order for school board trustee election. Ms. Kelly will present for us this evening.
Good evening. The following is in accordance with Board Policy BBB Legal and Section 3.004 of the Texas Education Code. Tonight, it is my pleasure to present an order and notice for the Board of Trustees to hold an election for the School Board Trustees on May 4th, 2024. Brazosport ISD Board of Trustees serve 3-year terms. An election for trustees elected to single-member districts 1, 2, and 3 must be set. Therefore, the order and notice for the board is presented in your board book for an election to be held Saturday, May 4th. Applications for a place on the ballot may be obtained from the Secretary of the Board through my office here at the Brazosport ISD Administration Building. Early voting will begin on April 22nd and end on April 30th. The election day will be May 4th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At this time, administration recommends that the board order an election for Saturday, May 4th, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the purpose of electing 3 trustees to the Brazosport Independent School District Board of Trustees, and that the chief financial officer be instructed to post the notice of the election and have the election notice published in accordance with the law. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? From the public? All right. Hearing none then, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation as presented by administration? So moved by Mr. Dunn, second by Ms. Claire?
Yeah, she seconded. Go ahead.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. That carries. Thank you. Next item that we have under action items is the Citizens Bond and Oversight Committee related action items. Ms. Kelly?
So our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee was established by the Board of Trustees to ensure that tax dollars were expended as approved by the voters, evaluate any proposed changes, and to communicate accordingly with the Board of Trustees. On January 10th, the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee met, which resulted in a couple of action items for the Board of Trustees to consider this evening. First, a charter amendment that establishes that the committee shall meet a minimum of 3 times per year versus quarterly. This aligns the meeting dates to action necessary to meet project timelines and to when we have relevant updates on current construction projects to share with the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. The future meeting dates for 2024 are set for April 17th and September 18th. And then the second action item is we received membership resignations from Mr. Jim Martin and also Mr. Donald Lamont. And so the charter does require a minimum of 15 members. So after these 2 resignations, the committee will be down to 13 members. So we are soliciting new member nominations at this time. I have received a nomination for Anna Silvis from both Mr. Adkins and Eric Aguilera, who's a current CBOC member and serves on Clute City Council. And so I have an email into her, and she has accepted the nomination. So we will be proposing her to CBOC for approval via email. The charter allows us to vote via email, so that we can bring that back to the board in February for approval and get her ready to go for the April meeting, since we are down to just 3 meetings a year. I didn't want to make her wait any longer. And so assuming that gets approved, we'd be up to 14 members, and so we still need an additional nomination. So if you have anyone in mind, I'd be happy to entertain that and take that to CBOC. And so at this time, administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the amendment as presented to the charter and accept the resignation of Mr. Martin and Mr. Lamont, and that was approved by the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? From the audience?
Move for approval.
Second. All right, it's been moved by Mr. Fortner and seconded by Mr. Reinhardt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right, that carries as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item that we have on our agenda is the board resolution for employee compensation and disaster leave due to inclement weather.
That is correct. The following is in accordance with board policy BEA local and our district goal that BISD will recruit and develop and retain highly effective staff. Chapter 45 of the Texas Education Code describes authorized expenditures for Texas school districts. Section 45.105C of the Texas Education Code states that local school funds may be used for the purposes necessary to conduct a public schools determined by the Board of Trustees. And the Texas Education Code Section 21.401C provides that if the commissioner reduces the number of days in accordance with Section 25.081B, that such reduction will not result in a reduction in educator salary. The resolution included in your board book provides that Brazosport Independent School District Board of Trustees finds that a public purpose exists to pay employees for the day missed as a result of the inclement weather that we experienced on January 16, 2024, and that such payments are necessary in conducting public schools in accordance with Texas Education Code Section 45.105C. This resolution also provides that the Brazosport Independent School District compensate any non-exempt employee who was required to report to work day at their regular rate of pay in addition to the pay that all employees will receive for a maximum of double time rate. I can tell you we had one employee that was called out that day to work related to the heating system. And then the administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the employee compensation resolution due to inclement weather as presented and documented by the resolution included in board book. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Board, anyone, any questions from the board, from the audience? Moved by Mr. Reinhardt, I have a second, by Ms. Cuellar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right, that's unanimous as
Thank you,
well.
and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Appreciate all you do as well. Next item that we have on our agenda under action items is the school chaplains. Mr. Whitehead.
Thank you. Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy GKG Legal and District Goal BISD learning environments will be safe and conducive to learning, it is my pleasure to present information and a recommendation regarding Senate Bill 763 on school chaplains. Chapter 23 of the Texas Education Code permits school districts to employ or accept as volunteers a chaplain to provide support services and programs for students. A chaplain under this chapter is not required to be certified by the State Board of Educator certification. However, the chaplain must meet the requirements under Section 22, subsection C, which is a criminal history standard section of the Texas Education Code. Senate Bill 763, passed by the 88th legislative session, requires that each Board of Trustees of a school district take a record vote not later than 6 months after the effective date of this act on whether to adopt a policy authorizing a campus of the district to employ or accept as a volunteer a chaplain under Chapter 23 of the Texas Education Code. Brazosport ISD has a robust volunteer program, which includes a designated district volunteer mentor liaison, Ms. Sharon Ritchie, who's here with us tonight. Additionally, we have a district volunteer advisory and over 1,700 individuals approved to volunteer at our campuses. Volunteers mentor, tutor, assist in libraries or classrooms, participate on PTO committees, and participate on booster clubs, all to support our students and staff. In addition to volunteers, Brazosport ISD partners with our local churches through Loving BISD, and most campuses currently have a church serving the campus. Brazosport ISD hosts an outstanding volunteer program, and allowing chaplains to volunteer would further support our students and staff. It is the recommendation of the administration to accept chaplains as volunteers to provide support, services, and programs for students in Brazosport ISD. At this time, I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from the board? Any comments from the board?
Yeah, this is a very difficult situation, I think. Based on the fact that the legislature has indicated that we could hire these people and gave us $15,000 a campus and $10 a head. So that's not going to happen. So the fact that they put this in and now saying that there's money to do it is ridiculous. But anyway, so I guess the question I have, and I guess one of the concerns I have is that the Senate bill was sponsored and pushed through by a local senator who is not pro-public education and is supported by our state board representative who is definitely not pro-public education. So this concerns me from that standpoint. And the chaplain, once you think of a chaplain, you think of one, okay, that maybe he's in the prison system or at Methodist Hospital. You know, I saw one while I was there. So, but those have a very rigorous training certification. This designation does not. In fact, I think I'm not sure what the requirement is to become that. You know, as you mentioned, we do have ministers that are volunteering, which is great. We have a robust volunteer group who are very diligent and very, Joe's a mentor. So, you know, it's kind of like lot of volunteers that come in and do a lot of good. I guess one of my questions is, the chaplain, as such, what is he, I know we have regulations, we have some pretty, detailed regulations of what, what they can do, what they can't do, background check, all that. I'm not sure that this designation of a chaplain will want to come in and volunteer in our system that we have. So that's another concern. And right now, and I asked Mr. Massey, our counselor, we're pretty full. We got licensed professionals, what do they call it?
Licensed, LPCs, licensed.
LPCs, yeah.
Counselors.
Counselors, okay. I couldn't remember what they have. And so, and they're quite busy, I understand. And so, and provide that mental health need. If the legislature was really concerned about this, they would have awarded some more money for mental health, which didn't happen. The existing regulation that we have, what is it, UKG or UKG something, is very, very, very detailed, and I think it needs to be followed. I don't see why we need to approve this. To me, I looked at I know Dallas is a bigger district by a long shot, but they turned it down, and basically they indicated that they would not hire. And I guess another concern I have is, if you read the bill, it just adds chaplains into the bill. It really doesn't specify what they would do, and they leave it up to us, which is fine. I just don't see that we have the need. Now, if someone who is designated as a chaplain, whatever that means, wants to come and volunteer and follow the guidelines, I don't see any reason to turn them down. But anyway, I just don't see the need. If in the past, when we've had some emergencies, I guess is the best way to term it, some needs, we've had volunteers to come, and I think that shouldn't change, because we're going to rely on the local people anyway. So anyway, that's my stance. That's my stance.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Atkins. The reason the recommendation is to the board to approve for chaplains to serve as volunteers is you're exactly right. They can serve right now without this board resolution. But as part of the Senate bill, there were three options. You could hire them as a counselor, you can have them serve as volunteers in your district, or you could not do either one. And so our recommendation is to allow chaplains to serve as volunteers in the district.
Jay, can you, maybe Richie would be the one to do it, give us an overview of the steps in the volunteer, somebody that wants to be a volunteer in the district, what process is to be accepted as a volunteer?
Yeah, Ms. Ritchie's here, yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Come on up, sir.
I didn't want to speak.
I didn't throw the other bus. I thought Jay would do it, but he threw the other bus.
We do expect a background check, someone to pass a background check. We have an orientation video that we ask that people watch that kind of shares what we expect of their behavior, and for them to follow those guidelines when on our campus. And then they get connected with someone. So really, they must do the application for background check and then watch the orientation video, and then we connect them with a need on a campus.
But they don't move forward until the background check is returned, is that correct?
Correct.
Do we have an idea of how many chaplains are interested in serving our district, or what the
No, because it's so loosely defined, we actually have people that could qualify as chaplains already serving
I
in
mean, if
district.
I called myself a chaplain, I mean,
Very
I
ambiguous.
personally was really excited when this, was announced by the governor. I like a lot of stuff he says, I don't like a lot of stuff he says, but this was one of the items I thought would be a good thing, and so I really started paying attention to it and researching it. And everything that you already listed, all the stuff that we already do, I think is phenomenal. I don't think a lot of districts have what we have, and so I understand possibly their need for it. My understanding from what I've researched is there's only one organization in our state that certifies chaplains, and that's not what we're talking about here. That's why I'm not really excited about how it has played out. Mr. Atkins' concerns as well about the folks who were pushing or who were promoting this. My question is always, what are the unintended consequences that we're not really aware of that are going to come down in the future? And so I've already complained to all our people, so I've had my say. But I'm concerned about. Anybody can say I'm the chaplain, come and volunteer at our program, and then they're designated as a chaplain. So my concern is what that might do. I don't know. Maybe long after I'm off the board, but opening the door for something that I don't really understand when the qualifications aren't really fleshed out. Like, pretty much all you have to do is just say I'm going to volunteer as a chaplain, and then you're it. So, my understanding of a chaplain, I think, is very different than what other folks' definition of a chaplain is. So, that's my 2 cents.
so
But,
is this something we can walk back after a year or so, if there's things that all of a sudden we discover?
We vote them out?
Yeah. What's the process?
So just a little bit of clarification on this. So currently, we have volunteer opportunities for pretty much anyone who wants to volunteer. And we wouldn't have a designation of someone specifically as a chaplain. We're in a catch-22. You either say we don't or we do, or we allow you to volunteer. Those are your 3 options available to us. If you say you don't, you're going to be criticized for not doing it. If you say you do, then you're going to have indoctrination and everyone's opinion coming at you. If you allow it to flow through the volunteer program, honestly, the way the recommendation here is, you have no change really to what's actually going on currently. And that's the lesser of the 3 challenges from my perspective is we're not designating you as a chaplain under this. We're designating you as a volunteer. You're a chaplain, you're a preacher, you're a parent, whatever you are. There's really no substance behind this because it is a catch-22 Senate bill, and if you've read Chapter 23, the whole Chapter 23 is about 3 paragraphs. There's no clarification on what is required for a person to be considered a chaplain. So it's really, in my opinion, a set-up situation where you really don't have a lot of favorable options, so continuing to do what we do and encourage people of the faith to be a part of our volunteer program is kind of where our recommendation is rooted.
But if you delve into the bill, for instance, it says providing mental health personnel and support, and it added including chaplains. And then it says providing behavioral health services, added including services provided by chaplains. So, and then you come down to the suicide prevention, and then it adds including programs provided by chaplains. It doesn't say using our programs. So that's a concern I have with the way the bill is written.
Would that be for the purpose of employing those individuals or for volunteer? Again, I think there's a lot of wiggle room in this one. And we do have time on this because March 1st is our deadline.
Well, basically, the terminology is to employ or accept a volunteer. So,
Correct.
you know, it could be either or, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why we're choosing to accept as volunteers.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here on the board that wants to replace one of our licensed
No.
counselors with the word chaplain. I have no intention of that. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but, and I don't think that's what we're doing here, obviously, but, and I know there is a lot of, in beauty in the language, but it's, we are accepting people, as mentors, as readers, as tutors and things like that, from churches and from other organizations, and I think that's a great thing. And so, I don't want that policy to change, obviously. And so, if someone wants to come and put volunteer/chaplain next to their name when they're volunteering, I don't know if I have a big problem with it, but, you know, clearly I think there is some intention by the original writers of this to replace, or at least have the opportunity to replace counselors with chaplains. But I hope that's not where I would want to stand from our district needs and the way those professionals work within our organization. So, you know, if they want to be a volunteer, I'm more than happy to.
Any other comments?
I don't know how you differentiate from someone who's trained as a chaplain belief for them to transition into a volunteer, because there's so much. It just kind of hung us out to dry, and the legislature basically what they did. That's what they did.
Any comments from the audience before we move forward?
I have a question.
All right.
So if you fold these chaplains into your normal volunteers, will they be paid?
No.
But the bill does provide provision to pay those chaplains.
To employ them.
Yeah, to employ the,
If you elect to approve employment of chaplains, sorry, but really no different than if you elect to employ any capacity in the school district. You obviously can pay the designated person to do whatever task you assign them to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Jay, I thought I heard you say, was it like $15,000 to pay them? Is that what was up there?
no, that was part of the school funding. It was, of course, this really comes out of the safety and security portion that the legislature approved, and they approved $15,000 for each campus and $10 a student. Is that what it
Required self-paced.
Yeah, and so
For a police officer.
the legislature
Okay.
said, take it. You can use that. It's allowed to use that safety and security money
For this.
but that doesn't even pay for the required police officer or security officer at the end. So the whole point of that is kind of ludicrous funding.
We heard that person give that speech at the Angleton, city council meeting a couple of months ago. And she was going around to the different districts and talking about it. And so that's where I got the 15,000,
Yes.
when we were at that particular meeting, so.
And that is our elected state board of education rep who is not pro-public education.
Okay. Okay, that's.
Not even close.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
We couldn't hire a custodian
I know.
for $15,000 a
I
year, much
understand.
less an officer. And then to take that money that they're saying we can use for these other things, to use it then, and if we wanted to pay a person designated as a chaplain. But
Thank you. We shared that with her that night, that we thought that was crazy, but. I thought it was crazy anyway.
Yeah,
welcome to school board.
Yeah. Welcome to our world.
Welcome to
Don't record that one.
And she's also a former Alvin school board member too. So.
All right.
Scary.
So we've talked about it. Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation from the administration concerning the volunteer chaplains?
I'll make a motion to recommend that we only accept chaplains as volunteers to provide support services and programs designated by BISD within our mentor program.
Okay.
Or mentor/volunteering program. Sorry.
All right. It's been moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Patty Sayes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay?
Nay.
Nay. So, carries 5-0. Thank you. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Next item that we have on our agenda is, under action items, is the Brazosport College Memorandum and Understanding Renewal Dual Credit Education Services and Adult Education and Literacy Program. Mr. Brian Cole.
Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy BHDD, legal and district goal, Brazosport ISD will provide a rigorous and relevant learning experience to ensure that every student will be future ready. It is my pleasure to present information tonight regarding the renewal of the Memorandum of Understanding with Brazosport College. Tonight, as I share about this Memorandum of Understanding with Brazosport College, it's important for me to share that it is generally part of the consent agenda, but there are a few important updates that we want to highlight for you tonight. We'll be exploring changes to the funding agreement, new pathways, and a few other course changes. So let's start by exploring changes to funding. The state of Texas, with the most recent legislative session, now provides funding for economically disadvantaged students to take dual credit. Brazosport ISD no longer pays for the dual credit hours for these students because the state pays for them. Brazosport ISD would and still does pay for 2 courses for each fall and spring semester for non-economically disadvantaged students. The maximum tuition charged now is $55 per credit hour for dual credit students. That is nearly a 40% reduction in the previous tuition charged to students and the district. So we anticipate that this would save approximately $150,000 this school year and in future school years for dual credit expenses from Brazosport ISD.
But we don't leave anybody out.
No, sir.
Everybody still has the opportunity for dual credit.
Every student still has the opportunity at the high school level for dual credit. Yes, sir.
It qualifies.
Yeah.
If they qualify, yes. So after exploring TEA's realigned programs of study from last year, opportunities were found for dual credit students in the following coursework: Health Informatics as a program of study, Cybersecurity, HVAC, and Construction Management. Each of these programs offer students opportunities to continue their education after high school graduation in addition to the dual credit pathways that are available.
Brian, I know you don't have a whole, never mind, go ahead, you're gonna probably get there, so I'll be quiet. I've got a question, but I'll do it in a minute.
Yes, sir. I do need to pause now to specifically mention 3 courses that are part of the newly proposed pathways, and that are considered innovative courses by the Texas Education Agency. These courses do require board approval to be offered as part of the coursework. Those are Internetworking Technologies, which is part of Cybersecurity, Medical Intervention, Evaluation, and Research, which is part of Health Informatics, and Computer-Aided Drafting for Architecture, which is part of a drafting pathway that's been redesigned. An innovative course essentially means that a course was not developed by the state of Texas. It was developed by an organization or by another school district. For instance, we currently have Teen Leadership, Project Lead the Way courses, as well as our Learning Frameworks courses that are innovative courses that have been previously approved. The other changes that I want to share is that college-level science dual credit courses in the MOU have been updated to reflect an articulation to a new course titled Specialized Topics in Science, instead of Scientific Research and Design. This newly available course is more closely aligned with the articulation of student learning in dual credit science courses. As we explore the rest of the agreement, there are 2 additional portions to the agreement, and it includes an agreement for educational services, which is essentially for our shared dual credit counselors as part of this, and it's essentially unchanged. The dual credit, the Adult Education and Literacy Program Agreement allows for the use of district classroom space for adult ESL, which is English Second Language, and for high school equivalency courses. Most of the time, these courses occur in the evenings, at least once per school year. We have one currently that happens at Brazosport High School on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8, and I believe we have one that the college partners with the district, and it's mainly district parents, that happens at Freeport Intermediate during the school day. It is the recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement as presented. At this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from the board?
Just real quick, on the health informatics, Brian, other than what you mentioned here, are there any changes to not necessarily what's offered, but how it's going to be offered? Does that make sense?
As far as the mode of delivery, in-person, virtual, things along those lines?
The kids have more opportunity, practical opportunities. Will they still be in the classroom? What will be the deal?
Mainly students, for most of the dual credits, the students are in the classrooms. Most of for the post-secondary education at the college, a lot of their internship opportunities as a college student come later in their college career. As high school students, some of these overlap with, so for instance, we offer a cybersecurity pathway. So students will be able to take both our cybersecurity and the college's cybersecurity pathway. We do have a stone that includes an experience for students as part of our Project Lead the Way cybersecurity pathway. So many of our students would have experiences in district as part of their senior level courses. As the dual credit, most of the time at the college level happens later on in their college experience for those opportunities.
Unfair question, but as much money as the legislature gave the colleges, I wonder why they can't pick up at least one of the dual credit courses. Anyway, yeah. That was just a thought.
Yeah, cut it in half. Technically they did.
So they got a bunch.
Yes,
Alec is not going to teach that construction management.
We can talk.
Apparently, he's open to the possibility.
But the computer-aided drafting for architecture, you said that was part of the overall package of computer-aided drafting?
Yes, there is a drafting program that's been part of our agreement for a little while, but there is a new course that is that is better aligned with the offerings at the college, and that's the innovative course that's listed there.
Okay, but would they still have the pipe design?
I believe that, yes, they would still have pipe.
They better.
Yeah.
Now, I have one other question. The things that we're going into the college on these dual credit pathways, we're going to continue to keep these things in our CTE program as well prior to their decision to go into dual credit.
Yes, sir. Part of the intent of the legislature in these partnerships is, and what we look at as well, is how can our students continue what they've started in Brazosport ISD and move on to college and continue that. So when we see some of the alignments of the pathways, and I say we have cybersecurity here and they have cybersecurity there, it really becomes one continuous pathway that students can follow if that's what continues to interest them after high school. They would still have that opportunity, or they may decide to do something else entirely. So it's not in conflict, it's kind of a continuum where they can go from us to the college.
I don't want to take anything away from what they might, you might have a kid that they think they want to do that, and boom, maybe not, so let's try something else. And so I don't want to lose those kids.
Absolutely. There are lots of options for our students.
Any other questions from the board?
For our dual credit classes offered during summer as well?
So dual credit classes, students can earn dual credit as part of the summer program. We do not pay for students to take summer dual credit. We only pay for fall and spring.
Would they be able to take advantage of the $55 rate? I'm
not 100% sure, but my understanding is that colleges that chose to participate in the reimbursement for students that are economically disadvantaged for dual credit, they are capped at $55 per credit hour for dual credit. So my understanding is that if it is listed as dual credit, they can only charge $55 per credit hour. But I'm not an employee of Brazos-Fort College to,
Yeah, because that's a good savings for the kids during the
yes,
summer too. 'Cause
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great savings for the kids.
Yeah. And for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding renewal with Bradford College.
Before we, any questions from the audience before we take a vote? All right, it's been moved by Mr.
second it.
Atkins, seconded by Mr. Schwartner, that we approve the recommendation from the board for the Bradford College memorandum and understanding renewal of dual credits, all that. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item that we have on our agenda are our reports. Public comment will be allowed on each public report. On each report, our first report is our bond planning and construction update. Mr. Alex Ornay.
Good evening. In accordance with Board Policy CB Local, it is my pleasure to present the planning and construction update for the 2019 bond program. As of January 17th, we've had total POs issued that are 85.35% completed or in progress. This is a rendering of the Bradford High School CTE front addition and the main entry. And this is the phasing plan that we're quickly going through towards the end part of the phases. And this is a drone video picture of the entire campus. And this is a little bit close up. You can see on the left-hand side the front addition, and then on the right-hand side you can see the new shop building. And then all of the paving that is in place. We're almost complete with the paving. This is a closer view of the front entry. And then this is the shop building. All of these phases are moving along very well and on schedule at this point. This is the back of the shop building. You can see the brick that is being installed at the bottom. This is another view. This gives you a good shot of the iron on the inside that has been painted Bradford High School red. This is inside as you go through the security vestibule at the front entry. You'd have cosmetology on the left and vet tech and floral on the right. And then directly all the way at the end, during the Christmas break, they did bust through into the existing building. It is secured and locked with plywood and all, but all the brick and such is gone. This is in the floral area. On the right-hand side, you can see the reach-through coolers, the display coolers that are also on the other side into the main corridor. And this is in vet tech and floral areas where the millwork has been installed. And then this is in the dispensary over in the cosmetology area. And this is one of the styling stations. I think there's three of those in cosmetology. And then this is in the main corridor looking into the cosmetology area and the main entry in the background. This is the entry into the group restrooms. You can see all the tile work has been installed. They're almost 100% complete on that. We should start seeing flooring going in the next 2 weeks. And this is in the cosmetology area, standing next to where the styling stations would be, looking towards the reception area. And then this is also in cosmetology, back where the hair washing stations are. And then this is the looking towards the classroom area for cosmetology. shop building, there is an overhang at the entrance to all 4 shops that goes the entire length of the building. And then this is the interior, and the left-hand side is the entrance to all the shops, and on the right-hand side will be the corridor that runs the entire length of the building, and then where you would enter the classroom areas. And that's view looking towards the entrance to the shops. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions? Everything can be worked on all the time except for the shop. It's the only non-covered area now, right? The shop building. Everything else is covered.
Correct. We're not too far off from, the shop is a process getting the roof on because they have to put the insulation under it and then put the roofing on at the same time. And so that'll be done quickly, and the shop area should move along fairly quick because there's not that much finish out other than the corridors, the restrooms, and the classrooms.
It would be nice when the CTE entry is open, because we had a CTE advisory meeting at the bistro. Had to stop for oxygen before I could get back to the bistro. Coming in the main door and coming back all the way around.
It is.
Took a while to get there.
Yes.
It'll be nice. And because the bistro, if you look out there, that's the CTE entry, so it's
Right.
perfect.
Exactly,
So,
yeah, it lines up perfectly.
yeah.
The bistro is well done. It fits their needs very well.
Yes.
Yeah, the advisory group was, they could see the bistro, they could see the AV room, and, right there, they were very impressed with the progress, so.
Yeah, it'll be a big change this summer, which is going to be a huge project, but then all the graphics will be in and all of the pathway signage and that sort of thing. So what you're seeing now is just a tease with the flooring and the colors and that sort of thing.
We'll be all ready to go in August, right? Everything will be done. Shake that head and cross your fingers. You got your fingers crossed and shaking your head. That's not fair.
This summer is the most difficult part of this project because it's an extensive amount of renovations. The front addition building, I would venture to say that'll be ready 100% complete in April. And then the shop building, they promised to give it to us about mid-May. And my hope is where we can start moving into the shop buildings and get out of those areas that we have to get renovated so we can start on them immediately after school starts, school's out. We'll get it done. Somehow it happens, I don't know how.
Okay. We'll trust in you, Mr.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Comments? Audience? About the construction?
Looks good.
Outside.
All right.
They do a pretty good job cooking in that bistro too.
I haven't had that yet.
Well, you need to try it.
Do that.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Any board committee reports?
Yeah, the CT advisory group had a mixer type thing. I wasn't able to go, but apparently they had quite a few, industry people come, and not as many teachers as they would have liked. So the good part about that is teachers won a couple door prizes, so since there wasn't as many, so hopefully that can grow. But fairly, the advisory group is really working at it. They had, at the last one, they had Amanda Thiedi's group, Advisory Board Apparel, and so it was good to see the kids present that. They were a little nervous, but they did a good job. And also was the judge Saturday at the Business Professionals of America. I think that's what it was. That was quite an interesting experiment for me, because I had no idea what it was. We did business management, human resources, something, and parliamentarian. And I got lost on parliamentarian, I'll tell you.
That would be your specialty.
Well, I said, hey, this is not bad, but then I'm going, these guys are really good. But Deer Park, Clear Lake, I think, Dickinson, fall around. But the highlight was the associate group and from Vassarport High School, and they did a small business management team, and so they had a theme or whatever. But I have two new best buddies, Angel and Alara. I think that's how you pronounce it. They did outstanding. They had little technical problems. Angel had a little difficulty getting the computer and the projector working, but once he did, he get it. But I was sitting there and they were putting this together, and they put it up on the screen with the projector, and I saw BISD. I said, Of course, they were the only ones in this group, so they get to move on anyway. So I said, well, this sport is going to be easy. But anyway, they did an outstanding job. And Mrs. B obviously has done great work with those two. They weren't nervous at all. I was very impressed. The lady who judged with me was from Princewood. She thought it was very impressive too. So it was worth the afternoon of being there watching, especially those two. They enjoyed it. So, and they were. I finally told them that I was a board member from BID, and they went, oh, really? So it was that was worth the 20 minutes listening to them, because they did a great job. So anyway, it was that was a big thing. I didn't realize how big that was until I got into it, and all these school buses out there in the parking lot, and it was quite an event. So I think Amanda was probably instrumental in putting it all together. So anyway, that was it. It was fun time.
Thank you. Coach Dillard, you had Region 5 athletic directors meeting here last week. Did everything go well there? Y'all accomplished some good things?
Went great. That's what got on the spot. I'm not even dressed up.
You look nice, though. You brushed your hair.
Yeah, I brushed my hair. Well, I was wondering if I could get a ticket into this cosmetology place. Yes, we were supposed to host last Wednesday, but the weather, we pushed it off a day just because our Region 5 area goes all the way to Conroe. So, it's Houston area, and, like us, we're not in Houston. So, we pushed it back to Thursday so that we could get everybody back in district, take care of the work and inspecting facilities and things from the weather. So we hosted everybody at the Freeport River Place, right on the water, on Thursday. Carla was a huge help in setting up. We had a good group, I would say roughly 50. We filled the middle part of that room with ADs from around this area, and CHS ADA had their business meeting, and then people got to have breakfast and lunch there and overlook the river and look across at Beefport and all the great things going on. Several of them went on a tour with Coach Sincere for the new athletic facilities afterwards. So we had a great time showing off Freeport. Hoping to do it again next year. So,
thank you.
I just have one thing. I was actually in Savannah, Georgia at Gulfstream headquarters this past week, and I got to talk to, on a tour, I got to meet the head of service for their Gulfstream, and they have a large high school training program. They're constantly looking for employees in that area, and so right now they're obviously focused on the Georgia surrounding areas, but I thought it might be an opportunity for at least to hear what they have to say, and if that's something that we could possibly implement, because they are in desperate need of employees constantly to go through that program. It's a pretty high demand and high paying career path for those kids. So they have some schools in and around that area that you can go to, kind of a TC or whatever it is, post high school, but it's a high school curriculum that they run through their CTE programs as well. So I'll pass that along to Jesse.
Board reports. Real quick, Ms. Ritchie's program, the mentoring program, she needs mentors. If anybody's interested, should contact her, go through the process. There's also, if you don't want to do the mentor thing, there's a thing called, my wife's one. Reading Hero, yeah. She's a hero beside in my life, but she's also a reading hero. And they go to elementary schools, intermediate schools, and listen to kids read. And I found out that those young folks are pretty good, because this young man looked at my wife's hand and it was all blue, and he kind of looked at her face and said, they were reading books on the colors, and he said, you're in the blue zone. And she said, what does that mean? She said, you're old. So I didn't tell her that. really need folks to be involved. There's kids out there that need it.
All right, our next scheduled work session is February the 19th, right here, 6 o'clock for our regular scheduled board meeting. The next item that we have on our agenda this evening is executive session. It may be called for the purposes permitted by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Sections 551.071 through 551.146, Sections 551.071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney on all subject matters authorized by law. When the governmental body seeks the advice of its attorney about pending or contemplated litigation, or when the governmental body seeks the advice of its attorney about a settlement offer, or Section 551.071, then when the governmental body seeks the advice of its attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. Also, Section 551.071 to consider legal advice regarding termination of Brandon Hargrove's term employment contract and related items. Section 551.071, consider legal advice regarding items specifically listed on the agenda. Section 551.72 for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Section 551.074 for the purpose of considering personnel matters, appointment, employment, resignation, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Section 551.074, consider the termination of Brandon Hargrove's term employment contract pursuant to TEC Section 21.211 and Board Policy DFBA legal and related actions. Sections 551.076, intruder detection audit report findings for BISD, Brazosport ISD. Section 551.082, for the purpose of considering the employment, resignation, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. In Section 551.082, consider the termination of Brandon Hargrove's term employment contract pursuant to TEC Sections 21.211 and Board Policy DFBA legal and related actions. We'll return.
Nothing more?
We will now reconvene from executive session. The time is 8:05. We do have one additional action item. Questions or public comment will be allowed before a vote is taken on each item. Our first item is to consider the termination of Brandon Hargrove's term contract and related actions. Do I hear a motion?
I move that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation to terminate the term contract of Brandon Hargrove pursuant to Texas Education Code Section 21.211 and Board Policy DFBA legal for the reasons discussed in executive session, and that the superintendent be authorized to provide Ms. Hargrove's notice of this board's action.
So moved. Do I hear a second? Second by Patty Saves. Are there any questions from the public before we take a vote? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by nay. All right, that carries. Unless there are any objections, then we will stand adjourned. 8:07.